Hey guys, it's Rae with Random Thoughts with Rae, and no Nate, but we have AJ from Y101.
AJ in the morning.
Woo! Who needs Nate when we got you?
I need Nate. Where is he? I miss him.
Right? He actually called me the other day, and he's like, "We need a podcast." I'm like, "Yes, we do." So we are getting back on the podcast game starting Tuesday.
Nice. All right, good.
It depends if he has like some person he's gonna go like see or date or I don't know. I don't know.
Well, then I can't wait to hear about it. Yeah.
Right. So, we are doing this through Zoom, and your quality of your camera looks great. Mine is a little because I'm using my laptop until I can figure out how to do that.
That happened. I know that happened to me too. I did a Zoom interview, and from the laptop it didn't record great, but it sounded fantastic. The audio quality is good. So when you put it up to where you podcast, then the quality will be there.
Right. Well, we both have different hairstyles. Well, my hairstyle's the same. Mine's different color.
I like it.
Right? It's like
I like that.
gray, blue, silver.
That looks tight.
Yeah. And in fact,
I like it.
we plan to do this podcast, and I'm texting you, "Hey, I'm early. You are." And then I realized, oh crap, this isn't a normal podcast. People are going to see us, and I was kind of hungover, so I had to go throw makeup on and run my fingers through my hair, and still in pajamas though. Still in pajamas.
You look good for being hungover. What's the story with that? What happened?
Why do I look so good after being hungover? Or why did
No. With a hangover. What was there, a party or something? A celebration of some sort?
Yeah, COVID-19. What else are we gonna do?
Today's National Tequila Day. Did you know that? Yeah.
Oh, that made my stomach hurt actually.
Yeah, I can't do it. The smell alone. The smell alone is like, oof. Yeah. Yeah. My wife likes it. And she actually just got a brand new bottle. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has his own brand of tequila now.
Mm-hmm.
So she had it, and she says it's very smooth. It's really good. If I was a tequila drinker, I would be like all over it. But
yeah.
I'm more of just like a beer, just have a beer and hang out kind of guy. Never really take shots or.
I used to. Fireball was my thing, but now that's way too sweet, so syrupy, and I'm like, eh. And Patron, that was my drink. But now I started to become a whiskey drinker.
Whoa.
Yes, I like it.
Nice. Okay.
And I'll do that straight old fashioned, which, it's the old man drink. It's straight whiskey with like a little black cherry in it and a splash of something else. And me and my boyfriend had went to a Mexican restaurant before all this stuff had happened, and he's all ordering this pretty drink, and I'm like, "Can I get an old fashioned?"
That's what I would be like. I'm all about the flavor, but I wish I could develop that sense of just like whiskey, scotch on the rocks. If I was able to do that, I can't do that. I've tried. Maybe I'll try now that I'm older. I'll
try the old man drink.
I'll have a mature palate, and I'll be able to enjoy the finer things like that.
Well, when this COVID will never be done. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. It's either going to go away after the elections or
I don't see it going away. Yeah, how's it going to go away?
So I'll just put it this way. I'm for social distancing. People want to wear a mask, the shutdown. I don't have a problem with that. It hasn't affected me financially. And I'm one of the lucky ones. But it's like, how long are we going to run and hide in our house from this? Because the curve, and I'm not against protests, but they're saying that our spike happened because of families hanging out with families on 4th of July. And they specifically said not because of the protest.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like,
yeah.
There's thousands and thousands of people, and the majority of them is not wearing masks, but that didn't cause it.
Yeah, dude, the whole thing scares me. Whenever there's people exchanging items, like even going to the gas station.
Yeah.
How many people have touched the gas pumps? I've never seen them disinfected. That scares me. But then again, I'm a germaphobe, and I think of that naturally, like door handles, shopping carts. Even though you have the little wipes there,
Yeah.
who really goes through every little single grate of the shopping cart and cleans it?
My mom does.
Oh, good for her.
She's like, don't, and this is even before COVID, don't touch anything. She's all wiping it down. I'm like, Mom, we need those germs to keep us good. But
no, I know. And a lot of people say that, but I'm like your mom. I was raised with a mom who convinced me everything had shit on it. Everything was in somebody's ass. People smuggle money and they put it down people's ass. You don't want to touch money and touch your hands to your mouth. That's the way mom raised me. And so I was the weirdest little kid growing up. Kids are chewing on their pencils. I'm like, oh no, you don't want to do that. Where have you been? That's gross.
Well, it's funny because I'm a germaphobe on some things and some things I'm not. And it's like, we were at a restaurant when I think it was the first time I met my boyfriend's daughter. We went to a breakfast place once again before COVID, and Fresno Breakfast House, really good. Yes. And I had potato salad, which, oh God, that sounds really good right now. But a piece had fallen on the table, and I just kind of put it aside. And my boyfriend looks at me. He looks at his daughter. She's a germaphobe. Yeah. Because they get the same rags, clean a table. You know, they're not washing them and squeezing them. They're gonna take the same rag again. So that's kind of gross to me. But he straight gets it and he eats the rag at the table. Like, but there's some things like shopping cart. Sometimes I'll wipe it down, but it doesn't really bother me. My son would drop things on the floor, pick it up and eat it. I'm like, builds his immune system. But my son,
it's true. Yeah.
My son, I gotta say, like, he's 5.5, and we've been sick a couple of times, and I'm like, this kid, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. That is great. I wish I had that.
So, can I ask you, obviously I'm asking you anyways, about your guys' COVID testing and what you guys are dealing with?
Oh, okay. So I've been tested 3 times already. The first time in the nose. Yeah, they do it in the nose.
Like, I heard it tickles your brain.
Dude, oh my goodness. The first time though, my wife had gotten told at work that she was exposed to somebody who tested positive. And I suffer from allergies and I have asthma. So already I have a bunch of different symptoms that I can check off that if you have a runny nose, check. If you have sometimes a cough, check. All these different things. So I possibly could have had COVID, and that would explain it because Victoria has been exposed to it. So we went to the emergency room and we had the kids tested. She and I went, and it tested negative. I didn't get the results for like another week, but it tested negative. So she went back to work. And then they were giving tests at her work. So she goes through another round of tests. That one comes back a couple days later. She works for a place where they take care of like the senior citizens, like older people. It's like a retirement community type thing.
Oh,
so they're very on top of like the germs.
Yeah. I said my dad's a maintenance director at a retirement facility.
Oh, no way. So they're very cautious.
They work together. Same thing. They had an outbreak there too. So my dad has to get tested every 3 days, and he's to the point where he's like, I want to.
That's great.
Walk away.
Yeah. Well, hers tested positive at the work one. So when we found out, she calls me, says, "Hey, I'm positive." She didn't even explain, and I already knew. Oh, damn.
Like, COVID. Damn, is it a baby or
We've been social isolating for so long. We've been so freaking careful for so long, and now you're positive, and that just like wiped every effort that we had ever done, threw it out the window.
It kind of sounds like an STD right now. You're like, we've been so careful.
Yeah. No, yeah. But like one of those STDs that's not so bad, because it's not as bad as like a herpes right now. Although it is turning into a herpes type STD because it's not going away. I've
never had a herpes, so I don't know what that would feel like.
Knock on wood. I know. Yeah, this is more of like a chlamydia. It was like a chlamydia. It's
Never
like
had chlamydia.
kind of shameful, but it goes away. But yeah,
actually,
and now, so she
I've
calls
actually
it.
never had an STD in my life, so.
Oh, it's not fun. They're not fun. Just like the testing, it's not fun to find out. Oh man, it's terrible. But I digress. Let's go back to COVID-19. So I go into direct a leader mindset. Like, what am I going to do? And this is not me. Victoria's the leader with everything, as I think like most husband-wife situations are. The wife basically takes the lead in whatever. And so, but I got into the role of, okay, what am I going to do? So we clear out one of the rooms, completely clear it out, clean it out. I grab all of her sheets and stuff as I'm wearing like my apron and disinfecting stuff because I don't want to touch anything. So far, knock on wood, I had not tested positive. And then I put it all outside and we make a room for her. Then the kids and I go get tested. And that time we went to Children's Hospital, Valley Children's, and they tested all of us. They even tested me there.
Oh, that's nice.
But they tested, dude, they were like thorough. That it's like a thin little like a Q-tip, shoving it up the nose. They had me lay back, shoving it up one side of the nose, doing a little swirl, pull it out into the neck. Okay, so as soon as I'm like getting used to everything, shoved into the left nostril now.
Same Q-tip.
A little twirl and twist, and then pulls it out again. That one hurt. That one hurt so bad, but it came back negative.
That's good.
All the family doesn't have it.
That's good. So did she quarantine in her own room, or did you make her go into the guest room?
No, it was the guest room. Yeah, the guest room. And she had, I served her hand and foot. I was at her call. I was making her mixed drinks.
I saw that. Was so good.
Yeah, I was just experimenting. I like to cook naturally, and I'm not a huge like mixed drink or drinker, but I rocked it. Apparently, according to her, I did very good.
It looked really good. The one with the little blue crystals around the
yeah. Yeah, it was Instagrammable. Yeah. I call it a crunchy margarita because of the crystallized sugar. Yeah.
So now is she back at work and clear and all that stuff, right?
She's getting tested again.
Okay.
And she was asymptomatic the entire time. So it could have been a false positive test that she got. But we don't know. We were just like being safe about it.
Yeah.
Scary.
And this is the whole thing is she was positive. She was around you guys. Sure, you guys had your intimate
the whole time.
Kiss,
yeah.
Hugs, everything, sharing, but yet you guys didn't get it.
We didn't get it.
And that's the whole thing. It's like, once again, I have no problem with people wearing masks and doing whatever they want to do. But at that point, it's almost like, well, man, how does this spread? And just because you had it or she had it and you didn't get it, it's kind of like, okay, like how do we do? You know, there's no answers, and you know, I don't know. I don't want to say I want everything to shut down, but if they're going to shut things down, say, hey, here's your stimulus check. Go buy what you need for the next 3 weeks. We're shutting everything.
And stay your ass home. Yeah. For 2 weeks and let it all get out.
Exactly. It's like, how do you close down me getting my hair cut? Which I go to a salon that's like little personal booths, and they all have doors. It's really nice, man. And it's like haircuts. In fact, when they re-shut it down, I had a haircut appointment that day, and I was really sad.
Oh, damn.
I was pissed.
Oh, man. But, that sucks.
You know, and it's like they shut that down, but I can go to Walmart, and I asked the guy at Walmart, how many people are you guys allowed in? 600. Excuse me? Allow 600 people
Oh,
in?
my gosh.
And there's a line? Like, I don't wait in line. But
the Home Depot, dude, I don't understand. Everybody was like doing home improvement stuff because they had a line for days. No
Yeah,
way.
you did.
Oh,
But
man.
yet that's okay. You know, I can go to fast food, but I can't go sit inside House of Juju. You know, I don't know if you can hear me, AJ, but your screen froze up, and it's the best retarded look right now.
No, I can hear you.
You're back, but it was great. You know, and so it's like the people at, these people at Taco Bell and McDonald's are not doing what they're supposed to do. Okay. And it's
No,
like,
of course
I
not.
can't get a tattoo, which is one of the safest things to do, honestly. But I can't go sit down at Luna's, which is a really good Italian restaurant if you've never had them in downtown Clovis.
I got to try it.
Yes, and they have great specials right now because of the COVID. But
Yeah, to go. Yeah.
yeah, you know, there's some places like House of Juju in downtown Clovis. They're open. In fact, we just did our 6-month anniversary and we went to the restaurant and we sat inside. And they've been getting fined, but their faithful customers are like, stay open. We'll make sure your fines are okay. You know, and when you go into the restaurant, they are very spaced out. They wear their masks. But outdoor seating is okay for people to do outdoor seating. They're still spaced out, but you're closer to people outdoors than we would be on inside. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this is where the things don't make sense.
that's right.
Governor Newsom wants to shut everything down, but leave his winery open.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And you can tell he's getting haircuts, first of all.
Yeah, that's right. That's weird.
I'm just going to throw out, I don't want to get real political, but like Trump, his hair, I don't know if you've noticed, it's not orange anymore. It's his natural color. His hair's getting longer, and he's not orange anymore. His tan, and I'm like, dude, he looks so much better. And but the first shutdown when it lifted, he got his tan, and I'm like, oh, right. But he stopped, and I'm like, okay, keep that up, homeboy, because it wasn't going well for you.
Because that orange look isn't really doing it.
But
what scares me about this whole COVID thing is how it affects like Victoria. It didn't do much, thank goodness.
yeah.
But then you've got people who get infected, and then 3 days later are laid up in a hospital on a ventilator.
Yeah.
Like how does it work like that?
Exactly.
And they don't know. Like nobody knows. That's what scares me, is that nobody knows exactly what happened.
And my cousin,
I think I had it last year.
I do too. I think I did.
Honestly think I had the worst flu I've ever had in my life, where I thought I was going to die. And it happened last year around this time, matter of fact. And that's when the doctors had no idea what was wrong with me and diagnosed me with asthma and having a flu, which was really weird because I always get the flu shot, and it's supposed to lessen the you never got a flu shot?
I've never had a flu shot, and neither have my kids.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I always get it. I always get it. And I never get hit that bad. But last year, for whatever reason, COVID-19, I think I got all the respiratory things that they were describing today and with the thing. I had just standing up. I didn't have enough oxygen where I felt like I was going to die. And the doctor told me it was asthma. That's scary. And I truly thought, dude, this is it. This is the end.
Yeah. I think I had it around November. I didn't go to the hospital, but I don't really get sick. Like if I get sick, it's once every couple years. And it literally was always like on the weekend when I didn't work. I'm like, well, there goes my weekend. But I never get sick. And you know, knock on wood, our particle board. But I lost my voice. It was raspy. I hurt. I had every single symptom. But they didn't know, we didn't know about it then. And I was still out partying and podcasting and doing stuff, but it took a toll on me, you know, and my boyfriend, he got really sick in February, and he's like, no, don't be around me. You're going to get sick. I'm like, I never get sick. I got a little 5-year-old that's nasty, you know? And so I took care of him, and that was all the symptoms. And my sister and her husband think that they had it, and we don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was. In fact, I know somebody in the medical at a hospital that she said that they had tons of patients November and December, and they didn't know what to even put on medical papers because they didn't know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. What do you call it?
yeah, and it's so sad. She'd end up telling, she'd messaged me and she's like, Jessica, she's like, keep this on the DL, which, well, it's out there, but we just don't say it.
Yeah.
And she's like, every person that comes in, we put them down as possible COVID because we get more money from the insurance that way. It's not just us. It's every hospital, small and big. And I'm like, I believe it. A friend of mine, an older lady, she went to the hospital to get her test recasted on her leg. She goes in, she comes out, she sees her discharge paper, said possible COVID. COVID or possible COVID. She's like, I had an appointment to get my test redone.
Yeah, how did that happen?
She didn't even test me. And I was like, what? And this other person that works in the medical field, she was telling me that she was in a meeting and she had questioned them about, like, how come we're not seeing a spike in the homeless people? If this is really that contagious.
That's true.
And they said, oh, well, and they kind of danced around it and then said it's because they don't come into the hospital. First of all, that's a lie. A lot of homeless people like going to the hospital because it's warm, they get food. Totally
that's true. Yeah.
Like some of them like being arrested as well. And they then asked her to leave the meeting.
Oh, wow.
You need to go ahead and leave the meeting. And
you're asking too many questions here.
Red flag. But I'm not saying that this isn't real because I know it's real because I had a cousin just disappear. We're like, we haven't heard from Chris forever. And then he comes back on Facebook. He's like, cousin, I had COVID. He goes, I didn't even know. He goes, I landed in a hospital in a coma on a ventilator for over a month.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And it's like, it's like, and then it's like my dad works, like I said, he's a maintenance director at a retirement, facility. And it's pissing him off because when they discharge patients, the older patients that are COVID, they're sending them to his facility. And my dad goes, that's not okay. They need to be where they're at until they and expecting others.
That's right. That's right.
And, and then all of a sudden, he's going and he's building these quarantine rooms for them. And then one of the employees got tested positive, and then everyone started getting tested until no one had it. And then all of a sudden their numbers went up and more employees were getting it. And so
that's scary.
The majority of the employees were all in a hotel room, away from the family, friends. And, me and my boyfriend go and get my parents' trailer that they keep at a friend's property. And so then my dad's like, I ain't going to a hotel. I got my trailer. So that's where he was at.
There you go. Yeah.
But he gets so mad. He's like, I miss my babies, his grandchildren. He goes, I just want to hug them. And he's never held my brother's baby. They just moved back and she's little baby. And I haven't held her. And, and it's just like, oh, I want to so bad. But we're very, for a while. And I finally told my parents, you know what, Dad's testing negative, and that's great, but I'm not going to live my life in fear and stay away from my dad. I mean, how long am I supposed to do this? And I've had some backlashes from certain people that are like, it's not living in fear, it's protecting you and your kids. Yeah, I get that. This is never going away. Now, if my dad tested positive, at that moment, we would then get tested and quarantined until we knew, and wait till my dad was negative again. But it's God, I hate this. It's so frustrating.
It is scary. It's truly scary. What do you think of this? Because this was crossing my mind. I've got a lot of time on my hands, so I think about this. What do you think of the evolution of testing people's DNA? They roll it out publicly so that the public can test your DNA and trace it with the 23andMe or whatever the heck it is, or whatever it is, how you test your ancestry. What are the probability that was some sort of government or bigger picture idea to trace everybody and know exactly where everybody is and know their lineage and know who they are voting for and all this. But this is on a grander scale because now everybody is in fear of being COVID positive. So they're getting their nose swabbed oftentimes more than once. So you can have your identity, DNA, and all of that checked, traced, contact tracing, all that stuff. So it's a way for your identity to be known by the man, if you will.
Okay, let me. So are you asking? Are you asking if how I feel about us getting like a DNA check?
How likely?
To see if we are carriers or had it or
Not even so much that. Maybe it is. Maybe there is a COVID-19 that is an actual thing, but such a small a percentage of the population will get it, like your cousin or like the other people who, and they genuinely get it. And the government makes it seem as though it's larger and everybody's susceptible to it, so that we all get tested and we all are genetically traced and documented on where we are. It's like a huge census.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a likely possibility, do you think?
I could totally see that happening, but I think that's too much power for the government to have, if that makes sense. And I may not even be answering your question right. Part of me has gone back and forth to see if I wanted to get tested, but I don't want something up my nose. I don't. And so the only way I will get tested is if someone that I was direct contact with tested positive. Sometimes I'm like, man, maybe I should just roll it out and just go get it done and see. But I don't, there's so many false positive tests and there's so many false negative tests that I don't like that. I know they want to test everybody. I don't like that idea. I feel that is going to take my constitutional right away if I don't want to get tested. Over my dead body, will I get a vaccine for COVID-19 either?
At first, be one of the first? Yeah, right. No way.
But I also don't get flu shots. Now, I'm all for vaccines. I mean, I got all my vaccines. My kids have all theirs. I don't want a COVID-19 vaccine. I really don't. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. All right, sorry about that. And I have the do not disturb on, but it still wanted to pop up.
That happens. Yeah, it's my luck.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Yeah, and now my computer says battery running low. Goodness gracious.
Well, see, it's the man. I was hitting very close to something that they are onto, and now they're shutting this down. Yep. That's it.
Exactly what it is. What was I gonna say? I don't know. I will only get tested, like I said, if somebody was positive.
The vaccine, yeah. And if they roll out with a vaccine tomorrow, you wouldn't get it.
Nope. And if they say, well, your kids have to go back to school, fine, I'll keep school.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, homeschool.
Yep. I mean, I'm already
That's
doing
crazy.
It. And I think it's funny because Newsom is anti-homeschool. And he was trying to shut down homeschool. So he decided, this is before this, well, if you guys want to keep homeschooling, now you have to test. And we're going to see where you're at nationally with regular schools. And if you guys don't do good, we're cutting all homeschool stuff out. And now we're all in homeschool.
Oh, now, yeah, wow. Dang.
I was like, yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff is backfiring on him. I'm not for him. I did sign a recall.
It's what I think this year is all about, though. I really do think it's all about revisiting what you might have thought before. It's a starting new. Mm-hmm. That's the reason for the shaved head. It's a starting of new. It's like, let go of everything that you held on to before and let's start fresh. Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
What have you got to lose?
Look at how many different times I've colored my hair in the last 2 months. Like I bleached it out, I put red in it, did this, and I'm not done. Actually, next week I'm gonna hit my roots with like a black, and then I'm going to do a metallic silver the rest of the way down.
Dude,
But,
yeah, that would look. You do this yourself?
yes, yes.
Wow.
And I've been doing my sides myself, shaving them down, and I don't
Nice.
save the best.
Would you trust your kids to do it? To cut your hair?
Oh, no. No.
Do you think you'd ever get that bored? That bored in the house where you can't leave?
You know
that
what?
you would come to the point where the kids, go ahead, cut my hair.
You know what? Actually, okay. Think about it. I probably would. I've been actually wanting to shave my head. Not short like you. Not like that. You know, I think I can rock the G.I. Jane look.
Totally.
But I'm extremely scared too. The grow out stage is just ugly. I'm gonna have like this. It's like, but I thought about, man, that would just be a good new. Just let me get everything off, you know. And that's actually why I originally went to my hair to this style, was because of the fact I needed a new me. I was in a better place in my life. I had lost weight. I wanted a fresh new look. And that's what, and so I keep telling, I'm going to grow my hair out. I'm going to grow my hair out. Well, I'm getting my hair cut next weekend. I have a friend that cuts hair.
Nice. Lucky.
I'm not gonna say any names, but
yeah, I wouldn't.
He's coming up from another state to visit family, and he's like, dude, I'll cut there. Yeah, you know. And I was like, thank you. And I'm going short. I'm definitely, you know, I'm going to take about a good this much off my hair.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
I know. I'm excited. And so that's why I need to finish getting my hair colored, because then, okay, I have to pause us real quick because let me go get my charger because I'm a retard.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, let me pause. All right, we're back. I had to plug in my laptop. I don't plan things out very well.
Now we got power.
Yeah, I don't even remember where we left off at, but you know, hey. I should have grabbed water too. I didn't think about that.
Coffee. Yep.
You know, I don't even really enjoy coffee anymore. I'm a big coffee fan.
What?
Yeah, I like my coffee so hot it burns my throat when I drink it.
Yeah. Hey, how's the cooking? Do you still do the cooking and the live stuff on Facebook?
We kind of slowed down a little bit just because, you know, everything started lifting and then everything goes back down. And so I jumped on the other day and my mom does a lot on there. But I jumped on the other day and I did a little live cooking thing and I made SOS. Do you know what SOS is? SOS is?
No.
It's called shit on shingles. I don't know who made that up, but pretty much what it is you get hamburger and you brown it up, season it, and then you make a white gravy. And I know making gravy is super easy, but I just forget how easy it is. So, you know, I melt my butter and I put my flour in kind of like a roux and you season it and, you know, water and all that stuff. And then you take your hamburger and you put it in your gravy now. And, you know, majority of people will put it then on toast, or you could do biscuits. So it almost looks like it's a breakfast meal that you eat at nighttime. And
you're describing like a hamburger helper thing that I like.
I love hamburger helper.
Hell yeah, it's so easy. Yeah, but it sounds really easy to make that I don't even have to spend all that money for the hamburger helper.
Yeah, you know, it literally made me it took me 10 minutes to make.
Oh wow.
And what I wanted to do, like if my boyfriend would have been over or I would have been over there, what I would have done is I would have cooked that, then put it in a casserole dish, and then I would have put biscuits on top and let it bake like that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds bomb.
Let me tell you, I was like, I'd been craving. I'm like, this is so good.
Oh man.
And now I think I'm gonna have to make some tonight because now it sounds good.
That sounds delicious. And that video is like on your channel?
Yes. Can you
oh, cool.
I
need to go see it.
Do you follow me on that page?
I do. I see it pop up every once in a while. It's seldom do I have a chance to sit down and actually like scroll through and it's just real quick.
Yeah.
I'm always working.
I could see that. Let's see, I made pupusas one day and that's on there. People trip out. They're like, what do you mean you make pupusas? You're a white girl. I'm like,
I don't even know what pupusa is. It sounds weird. I'm gonna Google it.
It's an El Salvadorian food, and pretty much what it is, you get your masa, and the reason why people generally like my pupusa over someone else's, it almost sounds sexual.
It really does.
Like my pupusa over someone else's. But
oh, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Like
it's pretty much just masa, and you stuff it with whatever. I generally do just cheese, but you can stuff it with whatever meat, and then you make your own pickled. You get cabbage and vinegar and whatever you want to put on top of it. I cheat. I buy that can of shredded jalapenos that already have cabbage and carrots.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't have my mouth watering.
Mouth watering? I know. I'm looking at the pictures. It looks awesome.
They're easy to make. It took me a while to get it down, but I had made some, and a friend of mine was El Salvadorian, and their mom was straight from there. So I made it for their mom and them, and they're like, "Oh my God, Jessica, this you were spot on." I'm like,
where'd you learn that? How'd you pick it up?
I just saw someone make it and I watched a YouTube video and I just did it.
Dang, that's really good.
I over season. So a lot of people don't really season their masa. I'm throwing green chilies in there, salt, pepper, onion powder, cumin.
Yeah.
So mine's more flavorful compared to if you go and get one off of a taco truck or something like that.
I'm all about that. Add flavor, the more the better.
Yeah, well, when COVID stuff lifts, like it will never lift, but I will be more than happy one day to hook up with you guys and make dinner. You
know what? I think a lot more people should start doing that, where they homemade stuff, kind of like what's that food to go? What is it? Uber Eats?
Fresh.
Yeah, well, like an Uber Eats. Like you can order from restaurants and then they come and deliver it. If they had somehow you'd have to certify that it is clean and it's people are sanitary, but you can order from like your Uber Eats and then your homemade whatever dish.
Now, you've heard of like HelloFresh? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. The food in the box.
It used to do that. I'm like, whatever. But she gave me one of those things where it was a free try. I had a week's worth, and I was like, this is dope. Because
is it really?
Everything. Yeah, you still have to prep. I'm like, and the pricing is actually really good to where it's not bad at all. It's really good pricing. Huh. But I thought about I would love to do that, to do like catering. I would love to food truck, and honestly, I would like to have like a food truck to where I make enough money to cover all the food and whatever I have to pay. And if I didn't make money off of it, I'd be okay, just because it's almost like a therapy for me. I love to cook. In fact, I just put out on my cooking page, someone had said something. I was like, well, I'm thinking about doing a contest where, I don't know what I'm going to do, but where I'll make a homemade meal for somebody and then take it to them.
Dude, that's a great idea. And even if you take that food catering idea, like on a food truck, and you just drive this food truck around and people can stop you and then order your pre-planned meal. Dude, that is a cool idea.
We're connected to something called Owens Valley Career Center, and it's actually a native place because my son's native, and they do they're so awesome. But when I go there and I'll see, they actually have a person that comes every day and says, this is what we're making tomorrow. Who wants to order? And they pick, and they write it down. They make sure they have it, and they always have extras. So if they show up to the office, like, hey, we have breakfast burritos, and they write out of the trunk of their car. And,
wow.
And I get it. Oh, it might not be the most sanitary, but you know what? I know a lot of people that work in the food industry, and
you don't tell me. No more. Oh man, that's my worst fear, is that I find out that my favorite restaurant is gross back there. I don't want to know. Just keep the magic, keep the secret, keep the magic a secret. Don't let me know how you do the trick.
One time when I was younger, I'm just going to say it's Javier's on Kings Canyon.
Oh no.
Been there?
Oh no, I hope not.
Ran across the table, and I'm like, my dad goes,
oh man.
My dad was always a baker. I grew up in a bakery pretty much. And he's like, yeah, just a little cockroach. He goes, you see the back. He goes, I bet you need the back's full of them. He goes, it's just what happens. And he's like, can we get a different table, or can you just wipe it down? And, and I'm like, that's not okay.
You know what? But you know what though? If the food is that good to overlook things like that, then it's going to be a good restaurant. There's a Chinese restaurant on Blackstone that happened. That exact same thing happened. It's the one on
Barstone, Blackstone?
Yes. The one where Buy for Frijoles. It's like a biker. I don't know if it was a biker bar type place, but it's like it's in that area where the horse is.
Mm-hmm.
The food is so good, but a freaking cockroach ran across the table. Killed it for me at the moment, but I found myself like, man, I really want some more of that food, that I would actually consider going back. If food is that good that you can overlook things like that, then that says a lot to the chef.
If a cockroach is brave enough to come out
while people are there. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
True.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Like they're like on steroids or something. Like. So what?
Yeah, cockroaches that normally are scared of people will come out and be uncharacteristic of them. Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Yeah. So what is your favorite restaurant?
Oh man, Sal's on Alluvial, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I love them. If I were to find out back there that it's gross, I would.
Yeah.
That would devastate me. I would be depressed.
Yeah. I'm a big Mexican food. I love it. But that's one thing, like it's hard for me because if I go to a restaurant and I'm like, are you kidding me? This white girl does better Mexican food than this place? And that pisses me off. But I will say my favorite is Rosalinda's. No. Sorry. Whoa. You're wrong. Not Rosalinda's.
Not Rosalind.
They're kind of pricey. They're in the Barnyard in Clovis. Kind of pricey. Casa Maria's on Miniwawa and Shaw by the bowling alley, where Applebee's kind of is.
Okay, yeah. I need to try it. I'm down to try it.
Yes, and they do specials all the time, especially because of the COVID. And as soon as orders got lifted, I was there quick. I think I ate there like 2 times before we got shut down again.
Oh yeah, smart.
But Luna's is my favorite Italian restaurant because
better than DeChico's? I like DeChico's.
With Luna's, they are straight, like they're from Italy, and their food tastes like an Italian grandmother made their.
Nice.
Nice.
That scares me. See, I don't want to try it then, because it's like, if it's really good, then the fake food that I've known is not going to cut it for me anymore.
I won't go to Olive Garden anymore.
See, that scares me. That really does scare me. Then I'm going to have to nothing else is going to do it for me. Unless you are from Italy, then I don't even want to try it. Don't even present it to me.
Yeah, it's bomb.
Right now, I'm good with the imitation. I don't even know if it's imitation. if DeChico's is imitation, but I like it.
I think they do a lot of their stuff, and that's what I don't like really about Olive Garden is they have become more commercialized, and they're getting their stuff like brought in already made, and they just
batch. Yeah. You can buy it at Costco.
Their breadsticks.
Oh, best breadsticks ever. Yeah.
Yes,
or the Red Lobster bread. Oh my gosh.
You can buy those in the store.
Yeah, you need to come up with a recipe where you make it, because I'm sure it would be cheaper than buying it in the store.
You know what? Yeah, I should. I've been wanting to used to bake all the time, but I don't have the patience to bake anymore. But I've been thinking about. I'm like, I need to make. I just need to do it. Because I enjoy it. But
you could start a new trend, like the sourdough thing. People were doing that forever, and now that just disappeared. Now it could be the Red Lobster biscuits, cheddar biscuits.
Well, the trend actually was happening on my cooking page. That whole 3-day yeast rising. And
yeah, right. Yeah.
Nope. I don't have time for that. And I did. I really did have time.
Of course, that's all we got is time. Yeah. Yeah. And it's only a matter of time before we start to get that bored again, where we'll watch bread rise.
Oh, I'll tell you, just popped in my head. I had made white rice one time. Put some lemon juice. I got cilantro, avocado, lemon juice, blended it together to a cream, got my white rice, mixed it in.
That sounds delicious. Every time I've ever tried white rice, true story, it comes out like mush.
You have too much water.
I can never get the ratio right of 2 cups per 1 cup or whatever the hell it is.
1 cup rice, 2 cups water. But
Yeah,
I always do just a tad bit more because I don't like crunchy rice. And
yeah, I get mushy rice.
yeah,
It just comes out as, oh man.
so, well, I don't know how interesting this podcast is going to be.
Well, it's going to be very interesting because we can't wait till you cut your hair.
Right.
Or have your kids cut your hair and then do it on this podcast. Bam. And when you get your new business where you're going to have, it's a taco truck, but it's not a taco truck. It's a mobile catering thing where you take your pre-planned meals around the neighborhood, Clovis, Fresno, everywhere, and you sell. Man, that's a great idea.
And you know what? Heck, it's not that hard to get, you just make an appointment with the health department. They'll come into your house and they'll inspect the kitchen, and it's not as hard as people think to be able to cook out of your home.
See, and we'll know how clean it is because you'll be on video recording it. Bam, so we already know what's going on.
Exactly.
Oh man, this is a great idea.
Yeah. So you know what? I might be catering to you guys.
I know. When you do radio advertising, call on me. I'll do the spot for you.
Yeah. I think Y101 needs to give me like a half-hour slot on Y101 and doing
There it is.
Question and answers of dating life. No.
There it is. There it is. Yep.
Questions with Jesse Rae.
That stuff is, man, that's a minefield to navigate.
Right. Oh, that would be fun. Like I told you before, I would love to be on the radio. I think it'd be so awesome. But
yeah,
I never got that communications degree or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, you would be, yeah. You'd have too much sense. You would have too much sense that you look at the paycheck and you'd go like, hey, wait a second, how much I'm putting in and how much I'm getting back? This doesn't add up. Yeah. You have to be a sicko. I think we're all sickos in here.
Well, it's crazy actually, because you'll see jobs that are like, you must have a master's degree, but we're only going to pay you $16 an hour.
Yeah. That doesn't quite make sense. Yeah, we're going to take over, and then you have to sign a contract. We're going to take over your life, but and you can't expect any overtime. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
But I love my job.
Yeah.
That makes me weird. I'm a weirdo.
You know, if Y101 needs somebody to fill in for a little bit, I would do it for free for a short period of time. And then
for sure. Yeah. Until you guys get on my nerves.
Oh, but you know, when you get back in studio, I really do. Like, I don't know if I want a tour of the studio. Like, I want to go in and be like, wow, this is cool.
Dude, I'm scared. I'm scared for when I go back. I don't know. I don't know how it looks anymore. Yeah. What have they done? Whoever's there right now, what are they doing to it? Are they keeping it clean? Because I would clean the studio. Wow. Oh man, I'm scared.
Is anybody working out of the studio still?
They have people there, yeah. But I don't know who's there. Like it's engineers or, you know.
Well, you need to tell them it's time to remodel and make the studios look really cool and modernized. I mean,
that's right. Yeah. Color changing LEDs. Let's hook it up.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, okay. Well, shoot. You know, one thing I like about my podcast is I just go with the flow.
Yeah.
And, like, we didn't even say, hey, let's have bullet points of what we want to
Let's have bullet points. Let's see where this takes us.
Yeah,
and hopefully you get a lot of comments, people commenting their thoughts on all these different things too, so that you can respond to it, reply to it in the next video.
Yeah. And I'm so excited to actually start getting my YouTube channel up and going. And I do want to eventually because me and my boyfriend are 22 years apart, and so that's considered age gap. I don't need
That's
to
one
do
of your
this.
podcasts.
Yeah.
Bam.
I told him, I said, I want to get you on. And he's like, oh, and I was like, no, let's do it. And if you go on YouTube and you type in age gap, those videos freaking
A lot of views.
skyrocket. I mean,
Yeah.
you have followers, but you have haters. And if you read, that's sick. And you can't let that stuff bother you. But
No, of course not. Yeah.
But man, I tell you what, so I told my boyfriend, I was like, that's the way to go. So I told him eventually, I want to start, doing YouTube age gap videos.
Totally. No, that would be great. Just to see how people get along and how you guys connect. You genuinely connect. I don't think you can force that kind of connection. And you can't put it into an age group with anybody. It just happens.
I do think it's more acceptable. Okay, when someone's like 22 and 44, that seems a little bit, I mean, I'm not going to knock it or whatever, but that kind of seems a little, but when you get to the point, like I'm 35, he's 22 years older than me. He's 2 weeks younger than my mom and a year and a half younger than or a year younger than my dad, and so I'm very close to my parents. So the fact that he gets along with them, it's really nice. But I was going to say something about that, but whatever.
You got to talk about that. No, but you have to talk about that on video.
Yeah. Oh, this is what I'm saying. So me being 35, it's not as bad because it's like, I've been there, I've experienced it, I've had relationships, I've had, whatever it may be. I don't want no more kids, So for me, I think when you're older and then the age gap, it is a little bit more better than when someone's 18, 19, 20 years old with a 20 plus, age gap.
Because do you think that it would be like, you wouldn't have the patience to have to kind of go down with your mindset? Like, dude, I've been there 18 years old. I don't want to have to. No, that's crazy.
Because it's like, what if it's the girl and she's like, I want a baby. And he's like, dude, I'm 50 years old. Why the hell would I want a baby? And those are certain things that, you have to keep in mind. But for me, it's just, we get along so well. We knew each other first, and we actually started communicating through Facebook Messenger because our friend, because some friends of ours, and it was, and that's how we started. We talked for probably a good 6 months before we even actually met, and at that point, it was like I had already felt like this. I kind of felt like he was almost like my best friend because I would talk to him and he would talk to me, and it was really nice, And
was he talking to you like trying to put it on, like trying to put on the charm, or just talking to you like whatever, not really caring if
that was the whole plan. He in his mind, he's like, I want to nail this chick, and even though I liked him, I was so scared. And this is something I've told him. Even though I liked him, I was so scared that we'd end up like having sex and it wouldn't be good, and then I'd be like, oh my God, it wasn't good, and then I'm not obligated, but then I wouldn't really want to be around. It's like, what if he tries to hit on me again? And I've told him that. He was like, oh, if the sex wasn't good, it's no big deal. I still would have hung out with you. I was like, yeah, but it would have put me like, oh, what if he tries to hit on me and wants me in that skin? And then he was like, sex with me, and the first night we had sex, I was like, we're good. We're good. And I was like,
I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah.
So that, but we've talked about that kind of stuff, and I remember when we had first, I think I've talked about this on the podcast, when we first got together, I would see people look at it, when we would hold hands, or I would touch him on his back to where, okay, that's not her dad. And I remember walking into Little Peking is a bomb Chinese place on Cedar and East, just so you know.
I think I forgot about that place. Yeah.
The original owners were better, but still bomb. Ooh,
oh man.
Tonight. And we walk in there, and there was a table of 4 people, 2 couples, and the ladies were on one side and the guys were on the other side. And we weren't even affectionate really, because I was aware, because I was like, okay, people are looking at us. He's like, I don't know. I don't notice, because he doesn't notice and he doesn't care, but I was aware of it. And I remember they looked at us, and then this lady literally turned all the way around like this and stared at us. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
What the? Yeah.
Sure, I started rubbing his back, kind of patted his back.
Putting on a show.
Yeah, I was like, you want to stare? Okay. Now, I don't notice. I don't notice at all.
He never did? He never noticed at all?
No, he didn't. And nor did he care, really. And he was like, whatever. But because I was more wondering what people were going to think. But it definitely, it kind of bothered me at first, but now it doesn't. And it was funny. We were at Bass Lake last Sunday. We rented a boat. And we told my parents, like, oh, you guys want to go? But they couldn't. And she was like, oh, who's going? And I was like, oh, just me, Dave, and the kids. She goes, oh. And then she's like, Dave's daughter's not going? I was like, no, she's part of the kids. And she's telling me, and she's 32, 33.
That's great.
Like, this is our kids, and she wants to be here soon. And I'm like, I can't wait to be a grandma, And in fact, we had, I don't remember what, we ended up going and getting at Pelicans in Clovis, they had the snow cones. So we went down there and had snow cones, and I started laughing, and I'm laughing, and he's like, what? And I was like, I bet you everyone thinks you're our dad, pointing to his daughter and me. I go, these are your grandkids.
Way to point it out, damn.
And his daughter's laughing. He's like, I was like, it's true,
That's funny.
That's what stuff like that. That's great.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then there's some things that being, in that age gap that has not issues between me and him, and because he said, hey, he retired early, like super early. And he's like, I wasn't expecting to have kids. I was done with my kids. And now I got my son, my daughter, she's older. And I got my little 5.5-year-old that I have 24/7 full custody. Dad's not around. And so now we've talked about how, as this progressed, my son will end up looking up to him as a father figure, especially because we're planning on moving in together next. We're still working on his ex was supposed to get a house in her name. Right. So now we're taking her to court. And so now we decided to wait on buying a house until that's done. So when all that's done and taken care of, then, he's going to get a house and we're going to move in together. And even then he's like, wow, I expected us to get like a little 2-bedroom house, a big old shop outdoors. And so now, I got to get a 4-bedroom. You don't get a 4-bedroom, you only need a 3-bedroom. And he's looking at these houses that are like $500,000-$600,000 houses. And I'm like, I'm a simple person. You can go way less than that, and it's just, and so there's been a few things where we have kind of snapped and gotten into it with each other. Like one time I thought he was going to break up with me because he had sent me this text message, and it was something like, I just want to let you know, it's like, I don't need you in my life, and this and that. And I read it totally wrong. I looked at it and
how do you read it right? I don't know how you read that right. That's what the heck?
Oh, and he goes, I can't even remember what it was all about, but it was more one of those like, yeah, you're hot and everything, but I don't need you. Like I this and that. And I was just, and this was in the beginning, and I'm messaging him back. And I'm just long, and I'm sobbing. And then he ends up calling me. He's like, dude, are you okay? Like, you're going simply was. I go, I thought you were going to break up with me.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know how you, how dare you? I would have blocked it. You don't need, okay, blocked.
Yeah, no.
Dang.
But I guess I had said something about earlier. He goes, you're always talking about, the age, you're always bringing up the age difference to people. And I was like, I was talking to my friend. We were talking about, about something, and I just brought it up, and she asked, and I go, you didn't hear the whole thing. And so he just,
I get it. So he's saying, I get it. That makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah. And so it just,
so not so much discarding you, but more like, hey, this isn't about the age, the trophy girlfriend.
Exactly. And so I just took it the wrong way. And there's been a few times where he thought I was going to break up with him. And I was like, what? So we've had some of those, And we've had the point where we have been drinking and then we get into it, you know, and that was in the beginning because we were learning each other. And then all of a sudden it.
Hey, do you remember that movie with Cary Grant? Wait, what? That would be something. That would be like a movie. That's before I was born. I don't know.
There's been times where like, you know, I'd be like, that's before my time, babe. Before my time. Or when we rented the pontoon boat on Sunday, the ladder, he couldn't get up. This is fucking bullshit. He's cussing. He's so pissed off. This ladder needs to be longer. How in the world could anybody get up on this? And I bet you girls can't even, talking to me and his daughter, you girls can't. I have it on video, actually. You girls can't even do this. And his daughter's like, you don't think I can get up on that ladder? You know, he's like, neither one of you guys can. This is ridiculous. So we're in the water and we pop up right away and we're just like, yeah. And then he's telling his dad, I was being a little bitch about these ladders and the girls. And he goes, now I feel stupid. I feel stupid.
Yeah, emasculating. Yeah, oh, damn.
And I was like, well, you know, your body's a little older than us, you know.
Oh, let's forget that ever happened. Yeah, let's delete that video. Make room for new memories because that one's embarrassing.
It was great. But no, there has been times where I'll throw it up. That's before my time. But I, you know, technically I was born in the 80s, but because when I got older, 90s is technically mid to late 90s is technically my era, boy band. NSYNC, went to their concert.
Yeah. Best music.
Yeah. But my parents, they're all about Steve Miller, Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin. So I grew up listening to that. Then my brother and sister were older. So, you know, grunge 90s, best freaking music ever. Come on,
right.
Madonna, you know, I
yeah.
mean, you can't get better than that. I mean, that's my, so even though technically I should be mid to late 90s, in 2000s, I love the 70s, some 80s, and in those 90s, that's my music. So me and him, we generally barbecue and we have some drinks and we play those 70s songs, and I'm right there and I know because of my parents, you know.
That's awesome.
And so we can relate and it's nice, but you know.
That's cool.
Yeah, so.
Plus that would be cool to ask him about bands that are no longer around anymore. Hey, tell me about seeing the Eagles. That would be cool. Man.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Is he very, would you say that he has to have like a level of patience with you because of the age difference?
Poor dude. Well, his ex-wife, and I'm not just saying this because, you know, she's crazy, like crazy. So when I said stuff to him, you know, I'm like, I'm probably neurotic and freaking. He's like, no, compared to my ex, you're nothing. So I think his ex.
I've seen crazy. Yeah.
Compared him for me, but I do have a little bit more energy. You know, I like laying around and doing nothing, but there's times where I'm like, let's do this, let's do that. And he's like I love camping. I don't mind tent camping. He's like, nope, because he used to have a trailer. He got rid of it right before we got together. That was another. I was done with the trailers and the quads and the motorcycles. I did all that because now I got to do it again. I was like, but
this is what you signed up for.
Yeah. And I said, look, buddy, I love camping. With or without you, I'll go with my kids tent camping. No, you won't. I'll go with you. You can't go. You know, and I'm like, it's dangerous. And I totally get that. But he doesn't want to tent camp. And I don't blame him because my sister has a trailer, my aunt, my parents. So now I'm spoiled too. And I'm like, I'd rather be in a trailer. And we did talk about buying a trailer again, but he had this big, long toy. I'm talking humongous. And
nice.
Like bigger than not that it's bigger. It feels like it's bigger than my 2-bedroom condo, duplex, whatever it is. But so when I talked to him about that kind of stuff, I was like, you know, I really would like a trailer, but something small, something very small. You know, I don't want, because if he doesn't want to go camp, I want to feel secure enough to pull it, you know, and something a little bigger than a pop-up tent or pop-up trailer things. But so now we're thinking about after we get in the house and get settled to get something small like that. But then after being on the lake last weekend, he's like, dude, I'd rather buy a pontoon boat, a double decker with the slot. And I'm like, sold. I'll take that over a trailer.
That would be fun.
Yeah, because at that point, if we're at Bass Lake and my sister is a member at one of the campgrounds there with their trailer, so we could throw a freaking air mattress on the pontoon boat and sleep on that.
Yeah.
You know, because you can do that. Or we just rent a cabin, you know, and do that. So he's kind of done with the whole roughing it. And I'm the type of person, I'll go camping, no running waters, no toilet.
Oh, hell no.
I'm like,
yeah, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
I'm like, no, I need a toilet. I need this. I need that, you know. And now, I want a trailer. And, I'd rather do that. But he's done and he's over all that stuff. And so he's like, I'd rather rent a cabin. Or
hell yeah. With a bed that's not going to make my back hurt. Oh yeah, I'm with him.
And my son has his hand under the door going like this.
Oh.
and so he's like, I'd rather just rent it. Or if everyone's going in camping in trailers, let's just rent a trailer for the weekend. He goes, you're spending like $600-700 for the weekend renting one. You're not paying that much every month on your bill to it. Storage. You don't have the insurance, and at that point, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
that's true.
Yeah. Other than that, my son, please stop. Now he's knocking at the door. He's generally pretty good, but he's getting a little. So.
Aww.
He's my wild. I almost lost it the other day thinking about homeschooling my kid.
Why is that?
My son challenges me. He's a very smart individual, okay? So he missed transitional kindergarten by 2 days this last year. But he can go to kindergarten. I don't think I'm like, that's weird. So he's supposed to go to kindergarten. I was looking forward to like the couple hours a day not having him. And he's very, very smart. So honestly, if kindergarten was to start right now, he actually would probably be able to be halfway through a kindergarten year, right? That's his mind. Oh. He's about a kindergarten halfway through the year. That's how advanced he is. So I did a 3-week program. It was 1 hour a day, 4 days a week through the Indian place that we deal with him. And he was so bored because it was
really wasn't being challenged enough.
And even when I did the exit exam with them and talking, they even said we knew from day one that, now I'm trying to do a restart. Remind me later. And so they even said we realized day one that he was way advanced for this. And I was like, yeah, he was bored. And because he was so bored, he didn't want to trace his numbers or write his letter.
Right.
And I'm like, if you're challenging me right now, and I'm yelling at you like, it's a P. No, and the 9. He did have a problem writing his 9 and his P, which makes sense. They're similar. He just
backwards.
Was the one thing he couldn't. And I'm like, it's so easy. Half silly. Why can't look at me? You know, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, how am I going to homeschool him? You know, I'm just.
That's, I love teachers. I love, man, the just the patience that they have and how they are able to get onto the kids' level. It takes a special person.
Yeah.
They're angels.
I wanted to become a teacher, but I wanted to be a second grade teacher because second grade teachers, you're really not teaching them that much new things. You're pretty much building on the first grade and making that a stronger foundation. And then third grade's now it's multiplications. And I want to be a second grade teacher. I have more patience with other people's kids than my own kids. So,
I don't. I'm terrible at it.
Wait, just in kids in general?
Being patient with kids. Because with my kids, oh man, I can yell at them. That's fine. Yeah. With other people's kids, I can't yell at them. Or at least I feel like I can yell at them. I don't care if other people yell at my kids, but I feel like I can't do it to other people's kids. That's, if you want to yell at my kids, fine. If they deserved it, fine, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm like, you're bad. Now, and I'm not pro beating. I don't think kids should be beat, but I am pro spanking.
Yeah.
And I think this is my son's problem. I don't spank him really. I think he needs a good spanking. We grew up with a wooden spoon.
Oh, yes.
My mom had a wooden spoon, and she broke it on my brother on his butt a few times. And my brother one time laughed at her when she did it. She,
Oh, dang. That's a challenge if I ever heard one.
right?
Oh, dang. What are you going to do now, Mom? Woo.
I do remember one time having to get spanked, and I remember putting books in my pants.
Oh, smart.
I know they realize there's books in my pants. But yeah, no, I am pro spanking, and every so often I'll get my spoon, my wooden spoon. I'm going to whoop your butt. Don't make me, and I'll hit it on the counter. Now, this little butthead would turn around and get the wooden spoon. Don't make me spank you, Mom. Hit it on the counter. I'm like, what?
These kids today, they're so damn smart though, or they're like programming computer software and they're doing incredible things. And even the way they compute math problems is different from the way I used to compute math problems. So it's, man, that's, I give them more credit than I think most people do.
Yeah.
They're smart. They're onto it.
I definitely think teachers need to be paid more. I think there definitely needs to be smaller class size, and which now we're going to have smaller class size when school.
Yeah, heck yeah.
You know, and the teachers. That's why they get to have summers off.
And winter and spring.
And spring break. I'm
Freaking
like,
lucky. Yeah.
Way to go. You know, and they'll get paid for it. I'm like, good for you guys. But no, I think teachers are not thanks enough. And it's so funny.
No.
When we all went on quarantine, I kept seeing these videos go around to where, Miss Jones, remember when you called me and told me my son was bad and I told you he wasn't? I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's bad. When school's starting back up, it's not what? It's not what? You know, or Miss Jones, this is the 5th time I've called you. Can you call me back? I don't know why. I don't know why you're ignoring me. Call me. You know, and I loved it. I
love tea. They get there early. They stay there late. Monday through Friday, Saturday, they're still redoing homework. It's, I think, they put in a lot of hours. That's like a radio gig. Like I'm putting in more than I'm getting back, but I think you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah. And it's like, I was going to put my daughter back in her Christian private school this year because of all this stuff, but I decided not to. And I was talking to the 6th grade teacher, because my daughter's going in the 7th grade, and I was talking to the 6th grade teacher, and I'm just going to say, she was my 6th grade teacher as well.
No way.
And the best teacher ever. And I'm just going to, her name was Mr. Cutie, Terry Ann or Cutie. And she's even gotten awards and,
wow.
The station has, celebrated her. But I was telling her, I was like, I want to send her back there at the school, but I know the funding, they don't have, my daughter needs a special education because she has an IEP. And I said, they just don't have it. And she's like, well, Jessica, if you come back, I will stay after school every day and tutor her. And I'm just like, what? If she doesn't get paid for that, and that right there almost brings tears to my eyes. That is a teacher. That is
hell yeah. That's an angel. That's why I say they're angels.
Yeah, and when I was going to go to school for teaching, and what stopped me actually is the math. I'm not a good math person, which is why I wanted to teach 2nd grade again. And I'm not a good math person. And she even told me, she's like, Jessica, continue with it. She goes, and I will tutor you every step of the way. So here she's willing to have even more hours to teach me and to help me. And she's like, because even I remember being in her class in 6th grade, she had told me, you would be an amazing 6th grade teacher. You would be an amazing
That's awesome.
Teacher. And and she even told me, if you do this, by the time you get done with teaching, I'll be ready to retire and you could totally take this, and because it's a private Christian school, so you got one 6th grade teacher, one 7th grade teacher, one kindergarten. Actually, right now the kindergarten and 1st class is combined, but it's such a good close community, and it's just like, wow, you're willing, and that is love, from Sunday. And my 5th grade teacher, he didn't like me. My desk was next to his all year round.
Oh.
My sixth grade teacher later told me that he went and he taught my aunt, he taught so many other people that I know, and he went to her and said, I just have to tell you, Jessica is the worst student I've ever had my whole life of teaching. She will challenge you. She will this. She will back up. She will this and that. I remember even destroying a book in class. And he went off to her. And so she's like, he's never done that about students before. I don't know what I would.
He broke the code. I know.
He retired like 2 years after that.
You broke him. Yeah.
And she goes, you are an amazing, I loved you. And but her are a lot alike. We're like this. You know, we're spazzes, you know, and she's Italian. And so she talks to us. Don't make me, I'm you know, and
yeah.
throws that up there. And she's real. And I think the trouble kids, she really embraces and loves and takes in. And I think that's just amazing and wonderful.
That is cool.
Those are the teachers that we need.
That's who I want to be when I grow up.
A teacher?
I want to be just that type of person, you know, to encourage somebody. I don't know if I could do that necessarily. I went on a field trip this year before all this stuff happened with my son, and we went on a charter bus, and I sat at the very back of the charter bus. And that's apparently where all the freaking naughty kids go to escape the teachers who are at the front of the bus. Dude, I was like, I had hair back then, but I was like, oh my gosh, get me off this damn bus. I can't get off this bus.
Right.
So it really takes like a special type of person to connect with those kids. That's like, oh, I want that. I want that very badly.
Yeah.
And they need that. I think those kids, they need somebody to have their back.
Yeah, and they don't want to be yelled at all the time. You know, in fourth grade, we didn't really take the buses. The class was like, you know, anywhere from 12 to 20 kids in a class. So, you know, parents will go and we'll drive. And it was my daughter, and I had 3 boys in the back. And this was during the whole Frozen, Let It Go time. And I put it on, boys, all of a sudden they're rolling the windows and they're singing, Let It Go. And I'm busting up laughing. And then those boys always requested to ride with me when we go on field trips.
Because you were the fun one.
Because other parents would be like, no, we're not doing that. Roll up the window, you know. And here I am, covered in tattoos, white hair and color, at a very conservative, private Seventh-day Adventist Christian school, you know, and you know, just me. And I had some parents. I was on the PTA at one point, and I was like, definitely I don't fit in here. But, you know, some parents kind of looked at me like, and then they got to know me like, oh, she's cool. Same with my sister. She's covered in tattoos too. And so people sometimes would look at us a little differently at the school until they got to realize, you know, and I don't think it was judgy. It was more of a, what's their story, or how are they?
Yeah, kind of filling you out. Yeah. Cautiously aware of you.
Tattoos and, you know, stuff. But I wanted to go back to the point where you were talking about how you want to be that type of person, to be caring and stuff like that. So I've been very open about that I battle depression and anxiety. I have OCD issues. When my anxiety is high, my OCD is bad. And it's like, if I touch something, I have to touch it with the other hand. I'm not where I have to do the light switch up and down, but it's to the point where it will interfere in my life. There was a time about 6 years ago that I didn't even want to leave my house. And last year, I even spoke at a mental health rally, but I had a nervous breakdown literally the night before. And so I ended up telling the lady, Janet, she does this thing called Fight the Hate, but it's about, they do certain things, like one, they'll focus on mental health or child abuse. So they have different things they focus on. Mm-hmm. And I remember emailing her the day up, texting her the day up, says, I don't think I can do this today, because one of the requirements is we're supposed to be in a good mental standing, you know. And I read that, and I said, I'm not okay. So she calls me, we talked, and she goes, let's pray about it, you know. And I said, well, you know what, maybe maybe I do need to be a mess and talk, because maybe they need to actually see it.
See it. Yeah.
You know, and I said, but because of the state that I'm in, I cannot be there 2 hours before. I will be there 45 minutes to an hour. I need to speak first, because as soon as I speak, I have to leave, because that's how I was feeling. And my pastor, you know, I love my pastor and his wife, and we're talking to them, and I opened up to her, telling her some stuff, and I'm good. I'm up front, you know, in the front pew of our church, and because they're holding it at our church, they're based out of like San Jose area, and I felt my pastor come up, put his hand on me. He goes, "How are you doing?" "No, I'm fine." And I turned around and looked. All of a sudden, I go, "Oh shit!" It was packed filled. People all along the wall standing up. It's being recorded and put on. It's on YouTube. And so when it's my turn to speak, you know, I'm like, "Hey, you know," and I'm fine. I said, you know, and I tell them I almost didn't do this. And I said, for everybody that's here right now that knows me, knows I'm the first person that's up on the platform talking. I volunteer. I do this. I do that. I'm a little social butterfly, and I'm in the mix, and I'm there. But what you guys don't realize is I suffer from anxiety, and I suffer from depression. And as of right now, I am not mentally okay. And I broke down. I didn't want to cry, but I broke down crying, and I'm sobbing. And I even told them, I said, you know, I've gone to my doctor, and you know, I'm getting the runaround, and I'm not getting the right medication, and I need to be on medication to get right again. I'm fighting for myself, because I have no one else to fight with me or fight for me. And I want to say, July is when I started trying to get the help of last year. So it's been a year. Oh God, it has been a year. And it took me literally a year of fighting for myself to finally get on the right medication to level me out. I should have never had to fight. And I have a therapist.
Yeah. And
I have a case counselor, where if I have anxiety, where I mean, grocery shopping, that's kind of like my comfort. But if I go to the DMV and it's going to be overwhelming, she goes with me. And
that's good.
People trip out on that. Jessica, you're social, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, looks can be deceiving.
No, hell yeah.
You know, there's times where I'm on my couch and I can't get up, and I just can't do it. My anxiety is the worst of it all. And I was talking to my case counselor, and I was assigned to a nurse practitioner to give me my medication, and he was very belittling to me.
Oh man.
He would call me hun, sweetheart, darling. And I didn't like, one, I'm 35 years old. You don't need to call me hun.
Yeah.
This is my first appointment with you. You don't know me. Don't call me that. And so I made a comment about how that made me feel comfortable. And they had a conversation with him, told him, you don't do that. That's not okay. They wouldn't remove me from his services because they had.
Oh, great. Dang.
And I'm like, you're now having me, and I would have been fine going back to him, but the fact that he knew it was me that complained about that, it then made me uncomfortable. So at that point, I fought and I argued, and it literally, AJ, when I say this, it literally took me a year to get on the right medication. They finally got me with a doctor that's head of behavioral health, because because the last time I talked to that nurse practitioner, they'll call me hun and sweetheart and darling.
Right, didn't know how to connect with you, right.
And I had my case counselor on the phone with me, because it's over the phone because of COVID. And even he had to come in and say, whoa, you're out of line. And I snapped. I said, how dare you? I said, how dare you treat me like this and act like I'm abusing the system? And I said, you're supposed to be a behavioral health nurse practitioner. I go, you don't know shit. I said, you are incompetent. And the way you're making me feel I said, no, I go, shame on you. How many other people are you hurting and not listening to them?
That's so true.
And I got to say, my biggest advocate for me was my case counselor. She's so amazing. It's to the point where this had escalated so far to where they had to bring in a few different upper management managers, talk to him, talk to me, talk to my case counselor. There's another outside source that when there's issues going on that they outside sources, so that way there's no favoritism.
You're right. Yeah.
Even she's like, there's so many red flags here. And she's like, why this? And I said, thank you. I said, I've been fighting. And I'm finally, this new doctor gave me, I'm still on the same medication, but he gave me a different one because I'm not sleeping, which is making me more, crazy.
Right.
And so today, my case counselor, she calls me every Friday to check in on me. And she's like, how you doing? Da, 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 da. And I was like, yeah, it's a better week. And at the end, she doesn't like me to thank her because she's like, this is my job. This is what I want. But everything I tell her, I said, our mental health system is so broken. And we wonder why there's so many shootings, so many suicides, kids shootings at schools. We wonder why that. The system is broken.
Yeah.
And if I had to fight for a whole year to finally get to where I feel normal again and I feel good, how many other people have been slipped through the cracks? How many other people aren't fighting? And so today I said, thank you. She says, you don't have to thank me. I said, no. I need to thank you. You need to hear it. Because if it wasn't for you, I would have walked away, and you fought for me every step of the way. And I said, if one thing, I said, everybody needs to be like you. If all these mental health people were like you, our system would be fixed. And I said, you need to know how valuable you are. And if something ever happens where I no longer have to use you anymore, anything like that, one thing I want you to remember is how you helped me. And I thank you. Literally this morning, I go, I thank you for that. I thank you for that. And I said, please never, ever change that, because that is the help that people need, is what you do.
That's so true.
And
that is so true.
Yeah, and she's like, thank you. That's very, she's like, but this is my job and this is how I feel. And she's young. She's in her early 20s. And
oh, wow.
For her, she is rock solid. And she's going to school to become a psychiatrist, or, and she wants to work with kids in schools and stuff. So I'm like, I'm like, dude, you're amazing. And that's one thing. It's like, I'm to the point where I'm thinking, this is what I told her. I said, I fought so hard this way. I feel like I need to keep fighting for other people, And so I think I'm at the point where once in the next month that I want to continue that fight for people. Yeah. I want to continue to make sure that people are getting the help that they need, because it's not okay.
Even when they don't realize it. The sad thing is that there's a lot of people that need help, but they don't recognize that they need help because they feel like maybe they don't deserve the help.
Yeah.
I think there are so many people like that good for you to say that. Yeah. We need more people like that, like the teacher, that caseworker, and that's why I do the morning show too. To be honest, it's to be an encouragement to somebody who's looking for something that you don't even know where to look for it. And I'm hoping that somebody out there somewhere sees this video and will see that they are valued, even though that there's no one who shows you that you're valued. You do deserve value, and you do deserve human decency. When a doctor talks down to you, you don't deserve that. Shame on that doctor.
Especially when you're going through your little mental issues, and it was, and I'm not saying he's a sex offender or a rapist or anything like that, but it almost reminded me of how they say when they groom people first, they groom them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what he was doing, but I felt very like he was trying to groom me,
Right. To accept it.
Yeah. And I drink, and he's like, you don't need to be drinking. He wanted to give me a medication to get me off of drinking. And I said, I'm a grown adult. If I want to have a beer every so often or drink a lot and have a hangover,
Yeah.
do that, and,
right.
And it was just heartbreaking. And I physically, mentally, and emotionally, it wore me out. And actually talking to you right now and think about it, it's been a year. It's a year that I fought for myself, and it took a year. How many
Good for you.
walked away or didn't fight, you know, and it's sad and heartbreaking. It's sad and heartbreaking, especially when this isn't just my normal doctor's office seeing this is their branch for mental health, that you have to take an intake form. You have to see what your issues are. And it's sad. It's sad that I'm in this and I got treated the way that I did. And this is the whole thing. I'm the wrong person to mess with, because I will do this. You know, I will go fight for my rights. But I'm surprised I fought for as long as I did.
I'm proud of you. That's good. That's a good job.
Like I'm like wiped out just thinking about it, you know.
I feel like I feel like I've grown just hearing your story. Like that's you should be proud of that.
In fact, I have a friend that works with kids. She's a like a social worker, and she works with kids and stuff like that. Me and her talked about doing a podcast talking about the mental health system and the how broken it is, and you know how we need to look for certain signs, you know, and I've always said I'm pro counseling. Even if you ain't got no issues, I'm pro counseling. In fact, I had a conversation with my daughter the other day. I said, do you know what therapy is? Yeah, when you have problems. Yes, you're right. But, you know, and so I explained it to her, and I even told her, if you ever want to see a therapist, just let me know. Like, because sometimes maybe it was a bad week between me and you know, and you don't really want to talk to me, but it's someone that you can talk to and express, oh, my mom, you know, and this happened, and, you know, and then she can help her cope with certain things, or.
That's right.
I'm okay with that, you know, and it doesn't mean you got something going on with you.
No, right.
To me,
just to have somebody there to have communication with.
Yeah.
That's something that it took a long time for me to even realize that you have to communicate. You don't have to have it all together. Where I felt like I have to have it all together, and pretty soon that's a pressure cooker. That's how are you gonna have it all together all the time? Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then like my boyfriend, he's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to throw this out there. He's talking to his mom and his dad, and they're older. Okay, so they're like in their 80s, I think like mid to late 80s. Talking to them, they're like asking some of the stuff I need. And like, oh yeah, she does like some cooking stuff, and she has a podcast. And his dad's like, what's a podcast? So he tells them. So then my boyfriend pulls up my podcast.
Oh.
Knows his dad. How to get to my podcast from the iPhone? Pulls up my podcast.
Which episode?
Well, he didn't pull, like, he just showed the list.
Oh, okay.
Masturbation.
I was going to say, which one? There's some funny ones.
I said, you did not. What were you thinking? I even told his daughter. She's like, yeah, you told grandpa and grandma that? You know, but I remember that one about masturbation. It actually was me and Nate talking about growing up in a Christian household and how we were raised, that's bad, and it has messed us up in certain aspects. So it wasn't that bad. But his dad he did tell his dad, well, Dad, some of them are very, very out there, wild and crazy, and, you know, and it was before me, and, I don't want to listen, you know. And so I'm like, God, I hope his dad does not go back and listen to some of those. And the last couple, fine. But, and then there's one about anxiety and depression. And he's like, yeah, she did one about anxiety and depression. And, you know, because she says she suffers from that. Her mom goes, I don't see how she suffers from that. And he's like, neither do I. I'm like, what do you mean, neither do you? But I hide it very, very well. And I've had conversations.
There's no face for it. I don't think there is a face that there is no, you look like you are that type of person. Yeah. It's everybody.
Yeah.
And anybody.
Exactly. And I talked to him the other day about it, and he's like, you know, he goes, I can kind of tell when he goes, you talk, and I already talk a lot. He's like, you talk faster and you talk more, and you're very high strung, you know? And I was like, now you know why I smoked weed. And I don't smoke now. And like, I've gone back and forth, but it makes me feel, and you know, whatever. And I feel so much better not doing it. And I said, now you know why I smoked so much, because it brought me to level. And when I back in the day when I would do drugs, I was all about downers. I was all about downers because it made me feel normal. Like, oh, this is what a normal person's like, you know, and that's just, you know, kind of how it is, and I'm gonna deal with. But I was just very like, I can't believe you showed your dad that.
That's awesome. I love your old episodes, and
Yeah,
the
but you're not
progression that you
85 years
made.
old.
The progression you made, I think, is you're still the same honest you, but a different version.
Yeah.
I like it,
Yeah.
and I think they were great.
Well, even
And
back,
your interaction with Nate, it just
Yeah.
doesn't get better than that.
yeah, even back in December, me and Nate had talked about how we wanted to change the podcast to a whole different. We didn't want that party, yada, whatever.
Mhm,
And this was even before I was with my boyfriend, so we were already going to be switching over to that kind of stuff. So I do like the aspect and the gear, because I want my mom to listen to my podcast because she wanted to. I said, no, don't listen to my podcast, Mom. You know, but when I did it, the last podcast was Simply Thinking podcast. With him, I was like, Mom, you can listen to that one. You can listen to that.
that one's good. Yeah.
But that's, you know, I enjoy it, and I realize podcasting is a therapy for me. And I want, and when we get into a house, I'll have my little office, because we talked about having my little space. And I do want to get the whole, I want to get more of the setups. I want to get the cool background. I want to get the nice mics. I want to get a couple different camera angles, you know, and there's a podcast called Chick with a Stick. I don't know if you follow them, but they're there, you know, and they're at a table, and they have their cameras to where they go back and forth, and they see.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I
Yeah.
still want to edit. I still don't want to, I like the fact that this is real, raw, and uncut.
Right.
And I don't want to, it's because I don't know how to, but I don't want to cut. I don't want, you know, I want people to hear.
Well, you lose how genuine it is sometimes if it's too cut. It's too shiny. It's too pretty. Let's be real.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's times you hear an airplane going over me, and it's like, you hear that airplane?
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I enjoy it, and I want to get back into it. And me and Nate we talked about it. I'm like, dude, because love him, but there's times where he's like, we're set. I'm like, let's do it early. Let's do it at 7, so that way if you can do something afterwards. And then he'll be like, oh, I can't do it tonight because I got da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just kidding me. And then
oh, man.
Later on that night, it got canceled. You want to? I'm like, nope. I told no. And then the next day, he's like, hey, you want to? No. And so there's been times where he's had to cancel on me, and I've had to cancel him, or we both forgot.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit, Nate. I totally forgot. It's all me too. You know, like, I'll do it next week. But we miss it. You know, I mean, me and Nate were really close, and we still are, but we don't really talk. Like, we really talk. And
I know. You guys need to do that and catch up on the podcast.
Yes. And so next week, we will be doing that.
Good. I can't wait. I know.
Well, geez, I don't even know how long we've been going.
Yeah. That's good. I hope it's still recording. That would suck if it stopped recording like 5 hours ago. Oh, crap, man. That was good. We missed the whole teacher part? Oh, man. Do it over.
Well, I guess we should wrap it up because I am getting hungry. And
there you go. Yeah, I got to get back to work too.
Yeah. So I appreciate it. So thank you very much. I'll have to figure out how to get this up on YouTube, and
yeah, heck yeah. And I'm going to share it on my Facebook page too.
Yes. And so hopefully hopefully the podcast recording on my phone picked up too. And once again, not like our people want to hear all this little podcast recording and whatever, but hey, I'm Random Thoughts with Rae.
It's a beautiful thing.
So, all right, AJ, well, thank you for spending your afternoon with me. It was fun. And I guess I will see you and talk to you later. And I'll make you guys some food here in the next couple of weeks and cater to you.
Yes.
And then you could talk about how good it is. And then
I can't wait.
Yes. So awesome. Okay. Well, you have yourself an amazing day. All right. Bye.
All right, cool.